blowing money fast on this side. I think I'm Big Meech.
What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Mo.J and we are locked in. This is the season finale recap for BMF for season 2. And let me say, this episode we're tying up all the loose ends because we need to move down to Atlanta and expand BMF into the operation that we all knew. I think I'm Big Meech, that BMF. Now, we got to get out of Detroit, so we're back. We got to make it happen, and then we got to head on out. So before we jump into this and break it down, if you like BMF content or anything in the 50 world, then hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button and follow me on Instagram. Now, we're doing things a little bit differently. Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, we will do the live after show discussion for BMF, the finale. But until then, watch this recap. Let's jump into it. This is BMF, the finale. Once the boys arrive back to Detroit, they go to the car wash. And when they get there, there's crime tape all around. Now, if you remember, the car wash is where they opened up shop. Dope goes out, money comes in, money goes out, money gets counted. Now, Detective Brian is here. B. Mickey also showed up. Now, Meech is telling B. Mickey, back up, you need to lay low, we're good. Now, when they get there, it turns out the body at the car wash is Monique. Remember, she got killed by Lamar last week. Lamar and Alvin put the body at Meech's car wash. Now, when Meech sees Mo, he tells Detective Bryant, I don't know what's going on, because he doesn't want any connections with this to give Detective Bryant leverage to come after him. Now that the boys are back in Detroit, they're trying to figure out how they're going to maneuver, because guess what? K9 is locked up. Boom is locked up. Now, Meech does tell Roland to go to Northern California up here where I'm at in the Bay and check out this address, because they're trying to expand, and I'm talking about expanding the whole nation. Now, Meech, he's letting everyone know this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to run it, and Meech is not taking any disrespect. Sterling, he makes a comment, and he's like, man, my bad, Meech, I didn't mean nothing. Now, B. Mickey wants to be involved with this, but we know that B. Mickey is the hottest one in the crew, and Meech is telling him, nah, stay back, you can't go to Cali, you got to work here. I got to make sure that B. Mickey is close, because you never know what's going to happen next with him. Markeisha has been calling Terry. Whenever something goes down, she always calls Terry first. Well, Boone's been locked up. They don't have anything going for him. Terry comes over. Terry comes over and says, me and your mom, we're going to make sure you guys have a happy life. We're going to have a house together, and we're going to be one big family. So the kids are looking at T, and they know T because they play Sega Genesis with him. Now, Markeisha, this is an opportunity for her to get her family up and together and established. So, of course, she's with it. Now, this is bad for Terry because we know that Meech, he doesn't really like Markeisha like that, and he wants Terry to stay away from her. Charles has been exposed for his affair that he had with Mabel. Mabel almost caught a skillet to the side of the head. Well, guess what? We're back to where we started. Lucille's not showing any love, any respect for Charles, and rightfully so. He cheated on her with what she thought was a best friend. So right now she's telling Charles, listen, I got to get ready to go to work. I don't want anything to do with you, but Charles wants to fix this. He know he messed up, but it might be a little too late. You remember they arrested K9. At the end of last week's episode, we heard Detective Brian say we're going to go to all the witnesses of K9 and have them talk on him, if we can get him to tell. Now, when they sit him down, they show pictures of him at the basketball game where he killed the coach, a whole lot of stuff. So they're telling them, listen, we need you to tell on some people. Who they want him to tell on is Meech and Terry. Now, he starts naming off everybody else, and guess who one of the witnesses was? Peaches. Peaches comes in, and she starts telling everything. So now it's forcing K9 to tell on everybody. We see this week even thugs cry real tears, and Lamar is going through it right now. Last week he killed Mo, he talked to Zoe right after it, and he's dealing with it. He's having flashbacks of all the good times. He wanted his family back together, but ultimately, him and Mo, they just couldn't make it work. Now he's hitting lines. He's tripping out. Alvin is overlooking like, hey, man, you tripping, man. Calm down. But Lamar is at a state where, hey, I ain't got nothing to lose. He hems Alvin up, and Alvin's like, man, he's kind of scared at this point. Damn, Lamar, he lost the lady he loved. Now, this is the family dinner that Charles has been telling the boys. I'm trying to get back in good with Lucille. Let's have a family dinner. Well, the family dinner happens. The boys show up. We're thinking, all right, it's about to be good. And then all of a sudden we look and Lucille comes down the stairs. We're like, ooh, for dinner? Charles is thinking maybe we're going to get dessert tonight. Well, when they sit down, they got to pray over the food, and Meech does the praying. But right after the prayer, Lucille says, did you have the affair with Mabel before or after the last time we had a family dinner? Because the first time we seen Miss Mabel was at the dinner table. Charles is upset. He walks out. Lucille, she wins this battle. Now, you guys know I got love for my boy Mike. Mike down at the Rad Rim shop in Atlanta. I'm trying to get a job with him. Well, guess what? He shows up to the strip club. That Goldie, oversees everything. And he's not paying any of the women. And the reason he's not paying any of the women is because they work for Goldie. He feels that Goldie set him up with Meech and Terry, and he says that he got robbed. Even though they won the money, they were running a scheme. He says, I want $100,000. Goldie looks at Mike and tells Mike, get your ass out of here. You ain't getting no money, Mike. We didn't rob you. That's a part of the game. And Goldie also holds it down and doesn't give up Terry and Meech's name. The two brothers are looking at everything they have accomplished. They've been putting in work. Detroit, Cleveland, Atlanta, back to Detroit. So now they're like, all right, we got a couple of things that we need to tie up, and then we can go ahead and continue this BMF and take over. Now, Meech wants to go down to Atlanta. Terry's going to stay in Detroit. That's the plan as of right now. And this plan works for both of them because Meech wants to expand. Terry still wants to be with Markeisha. But the dope game is wide open. We all remember young Kevin, Detective Brian's son. He's been getting bullied. He got kidnapped. He's scared. That's just the way he's been living. But on this particular day, him and his friend, they're walking, talking about the comics that he's been putting together. Now, I have no idea why he went on the basketball court when he doesn't hoop. And once he's seen Marcus, he should have went the other way. But he's tired of it. I tell you guys all the time, when you put somebody in the corner, the only thing they can do is come out swinging. Will they be successful? No. Kevin was not successful. He missed, Marcus whooped on him, and tore up his comic book. So now Kevin, he's really hurt. You didn't cross the line. Now in Detroit, they have a thing called the hair wars. Everybody come out, they do miraculous things with their hair. I'm talking about, I ain't never seen that. Some people have airplane on top of it. You never know what you're gonna see. But this is what they were doing in Detroit. The hair wars. I'd probably be up in there, grooving, getting my drink on. Well, Terry brings Markeisha. Markeisha has a BMF chain. Lucille steps up and she's saying, oh, so this is who you're bringing, Terry? She's a little old for you, right? Markeisha's respectful. But guess what? Wanda shows up also because little Nikki, she's modeling in the hair wars. She had a ticket for Wanda, who's been living with them on and off. Wanda gets into it with Markeisha. Man, it's a lot of nonsense going on here. But that's the type of environment we love going to. Now, Boom's in jail telling on everybody. Boom has some loyal soldiers on the streets. This young man's name is Saint. Now, Saint, he's saying, hey, Terry, you need to get away from Boom's B, his girl, his woman, his lady, his wife. Now, Boom is locked up. Boom ain't coming home anytime soon unless he tells on everybody. But Saint, he's like, hey, you got to leave Markeisha alone. That's Boom's girl. And of course, Terry's not backing down to anybody, especially over Markeisha. Lamar's been going through it. A couple of lines here, a couple of lines there. Well, later on in the day, he's starting to hallucinate. He's too high. He has a lot on his mind. So he believes that he sees himself in the chair. Now, the guy in the chair, it looks like Lamar, but in reality, it's Alvin. Now, Lamar is arguing with him, but he's so high, he thinks he's arguing with himself. We see a bag with a crack rock drop. And he's telling Lamar, do it. Now, you remember, Mo said she and Lamar used to do rock back in the day. Well, it was Alvin that gave it to him. And I always felt that Alvin was going to be the one to potentially take Lamar out. So right now, he's just stringing them along with that crack rock. Detective Ryan and Veronica, we know they've had their ongoing issues with each other, with transparency. Today, he gets a call from Meech, and Meech is telling him to meet up in about 2 hours. Come along. Now, of course, Veronica wants to tag along because, hey, we're trying to figure this out together. The feds are here. They're bringing down everybody. We need to be involved in this. He's like, listen, I'm going to go handle this by myself. But that's what Detective Brian does. He's a dirty cop. Now, this meeting with Meech that's supposed to be one-on-one, guess what? It's not one-on-one. BMF is there. Now, B. Mickey shows up with the witness. You remember the witness said that he seen Detective Bryant with J-Mo before J-Mo died in a black cruiser, aka a black police car. Now, the reason B. Mickey is here is because if this witness, which Meech and them are probably paying off, if he tells that Detective Bryant was the last person with J-Mo, Detective Bryant has the gun that killed J-Mo, it's going to all come back to him and get B. Mickey off. So now Detective Bryant, he's in a pickle, and he tells Meech, you better stop smiling. The only thing is, Meech has the upper hand. And if Detective Bryant does anything, they'll just be sending condolences to little Kevin because Detective Bryant was killed or in jail. So right now, we're in the clear. BMF, we're good to go. Charles is still working on getting Lucille back. He said, I met somebody, I got a counselor, we can go through it. We're going to make it through this, baby. I just want to make it right. I know I made a mistake. Maybe it's good that I got caught. And Lucille saying, I seen someone also. A divorce attorney. Lucille says she's done with it. She didn't expect her life to be like this. She wants out. And of course, that hurts Charles. Detective Bryant runs straight back to his house because he knows that B. Mickey and Meech were the ones that broke in. And the reason he went back to the house is because we finally get to find out what happened with that gun. Now, it's not in the lockbox, it's not in the safe, and Detective Veronica shows up. Hey, I just heard about Kevin over the radio. Are you good? He's like, what are you doing, snooping around? What do you mean, Kevin? Well, we got to head on out to the basketball court, because guess what? Kevin took the gun, went back to the court, and shot Marcus. Killed him. Bop! Now he's crying, saying it's an accident. They got the SWAT out here. This is an active shooter. Brian shows up, like, hey, that's my son, showing his badge. He goes over. Kevin's like, Dad, it was an accident. But there's still a procedure they got to follow. And Detective Bryant tells Kevin, it's all right. Don't talk to nobody. Veronica puts handcuffs on him. And of course, at this age, you know he's scared. But hey, it is what it is, man. They done locked up young Kevin. Now, B. Mickey, Terry, Meech, everyone's like, yes. Now, the gun that was used on J-Mo and Kato is tied to Kevin, unless Detective Bryant can do something to get their son out. The newspaper article reads, cop's son triple murder suspect. So right now, Detective Bryant put his whole family in jeopardy because he was being a dirty cop. Now all of the bodies are off of B. Mickey, and we're looking at the Bryants as the potential suspects. Now Terry is telling Meech, look, we good to go. I don't want to get back in the dope game and lose you. But Meech understands, all right, we got Brian out the way, but we still have to deal with K9. We still have to deal with Boom. We still have to deal with Lamar. And of course, Lamar is on the streets. So we got to figure out how to get him out the streets so we can continue to move the dope. Now, of course, I've always been one to say, I want to see how Detective Bryant gets fired and has to become a federal agent at some point. Well, he gets suspended here because he was tampering with evidence. He was holding 2 murder guns, and now his son is involved. He's trying to get J-Mo and Kato off of that and just have his son going down for maybe manslaughter with Marcus the Bully. But in order for all this to happen, we're going to have to look at you, suspend you, Bryant, for having all the guns. Because if you never had any of this and were doing things by the book, we would have no issues. So right now, it's looking bad for Bryant. Now Veronica goes to B. Mickey. B. Mickey's been talking, but he tells her straight up, I don't have anything to do with that. Bryant had those guns. It's on his son now. My hands are free. Even though his DNA is on there, the only way that this will work to get B. Mickey to say something is if he confesses. But at this point, he doesn't need to say anything. So he tells Veronica to leave. The only issue is Sterling is out front watching B. Mickey. Even though he doesn't know the conversation, he sees Veronica leave the house. Now, Alvin calls up Meech. Alvin also gave that rock to Lamar. Well, Meech shows up with a gun and we're thinking he's about to kill Lamar. But instead, he tells him, smoke this right here. Now he gives him some lace crack. And the reason he's doing that is because he doesn't want to kill Lamar, but he wants to get Lamar hooked on drugs and out of the way. And this works. We watch him, he hits that rock and he's hooked. And what does he tell Alvin? Keep feeding them drugs Because as long as he's drugged up and fiending for it, we won't have to worry about him. He won't be able to put together a thought to come back after us. And that's how we get rid of Lamar. Well, guess what? We having the biggest go away party. We headed down to the A. Meech is making it up out of here. Things are looking up. Even Terry's talking to his dad. And Charles is like, man, you know, I made some mistakes, but I love you. You know what I'm saying? That at the end of the day, that's all you can do. A father and son, all I can do is love you. You know what I'm saying? Even if I got my issues going on, all I can do is love you. And I love my father no matter what. And that's the relationship that we're seeing, because these two, they've been at odds. But at this point, Charles is like, man, you know what? I love you, son. I love everything you've done. I love you, kid. Now, of course, B. Mickey got to show up. Man, this is the biggest block party, going away party we had in Detroit in a while. B. Mickey showing up. I'm showing up. Everybody in the D showed up. Unfortunately for B. Mickey, he did bring something. We don't know what was in that bag. Maybe, you know, a little side or something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some macaroni and cheese. But Meech tells him straight up, hey, go home, bro. You're not part of this anymore. Sterling seen Veronica coming out of your house. Now, B. Mickey has already told. Terry's told Meech that he's a snitch. Sterling told Meech that he's a snitch. Brian told Meech that he's a snitch. Everyone knows that he's told before. And now, he's officially kicked out. And he just walks off. We don't know where he's going. Now, Brian shows up to talk to his son, Kevin, who's on lockdown. This is a murderer. He has 3 bodies on him, allegedly. He got the gun that killed 2 other people, plus he killed Kevin. That's 3 bodies on young Kevin. Now, Detective Brian's never really sat and listened to his son, Kevin. And that's what he's doing here. Plus, he's suspended. But at least he's getting closer to his son. It's unfortunate he's on the other side of bars right now. So we got to figure out how to get Kevin out of this 3 murders. Meech gets on the road. He said he might have to go to jail for expanding BMF, but it's all worth it. He heads down to Atlanta. They bring it in from Florida, hub in Atlanta, go up to Detroit. We about to be winning. You all remember my boy Big Mike from the rim shop that wasn't paying the ladies, that wanted $100,000? Well, Meech showed up and he's talking to Goldie. He brought a little bit of money, you know what I'm saying? Just a thank you gift. Well, he shows up with a shotgun talking about, I'm back. He get to shooting the club up. Shotgun. Bow, bow. Meech busting back. Pink, pink, pink. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Goldie rises up from behind the bar. Little 6-shooter too. Bow, bow, bow. Lays Mike down. But hey, man, when you come in here, you got to be prepared to go to war at all costs. And unfortunately, we lost Mike. Now we're looking at the dead body of Mike, and Goldie is saying, hey, there's a guy named Robert. Go over to Magic City and tell him I sent you. Now she's putting Meech in the game for real. Because at this point, Meech, he's just back. They got the bricks, but he needs to know who to sell to. Because remember, Ty Washington is dead. Now he was supposed to be partnering with Ty and using Atlanta as the hub. Well, it looks like Meech had just been promoted to the very, very top. Back at Goldie's house, her sister, it doesn't look like she's going to pull through. Now, we know that she's been sick with AIDS. Goldie's been taking care of her. She's not ready to see her sister leave, but as we heard the first time we seen her, she said sometimes she wakes up and wish the pain was gone. And today, they turned the machine off, and R.I.P. to Sandra. But Meech is there. He's right next to Goldie when it happens. So we're seeing the bond being formed. Things never go the way that they're supposed to go. Well, Meech shows up to Magic City Mondays. It's crazy in here tonight. But guess who else is in there? Remy. Remy shot the club up last time they were there. So we got us a little beef brewing going into season 3. Terry's riding around Detroit with his lady on his arm. Big BMF things. BMF chains. Marquisha in the whip. We see Lamar walking the streets. He's a dope fiend. But what do we know about BMF? Nothing is ever what it seems. There's no fairy tale ending. And the last thing we see for Terry and Marquisha is Saint pulling up in a van. Boom's right-hand man. And just like Boom's name, he gets to booming on Terry and Marquisha. Season 3. We gotta wait and see. All right, let me know what you think about BMF season 2. The finale was definitely pretty good. I like how they ended it with the Remy being shown, with Saint being shown, and both of the brothers having their own little drama going on. But let me know what you think. Do you think Marquisha's gonna make it out of this and go into season 3? And also, how are we gonna get rid of Remy? Let me know what you think. I'm Mo.J. Make sure you tune in Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for the live after show discussion for the season finale of BMF. Thanks for watching. If you like this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching again. I'm out.